going on, guys? Hit pause here with a tutorial, I guess I'd call it that. What I'm going to do is I am going to take a stab at something that I've been absolutely dying to do for as long as I can remember, and that is to create an actual carpet for, well, my carpet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try NeoFur to create a shag carpet and see if I can't actually pull that off. It's going to work, god damn it. That's all I'm going to say. It better fucking work. This is an M-rated tutorial already, but you have no idea how important this is to me that this works. Since my characters are about this tall and you're this close to the carpet and it's that large, I have been for a very long time, very long time, struggling with what I'm actually gonna do. Like, this is okay. I mean, you know, like, okay, I guess, right? That's all I got out of this one. It is actually using bump offset. It kind of falls apart a little bit on the side. It's very difficult to tell. It's not very good. It's kind of actually accurate for a carpet, but it's too rowy in my opinion. No, it's not working. So we're gonna try NeoFur, which is a plugin that I have purchased. Cost me some money, and then I got access to a GitHub account. I've gone through the walkthrough of NeoFur already in a previous video. Go check that out. It's actually compiling that video right now, but it'll be up before this one. So what we're going to do is come here, and first off I'm going to grab the room itself, and I'm going to hit Control B, and that will locate it in the content browser. And I'm going to pop this guy open, and we'll come in here, and I want to make sure that I know which element here I'm dealing with, which it's pretty clear. It's element number 1. So what I want to do now, boys room statics, I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder called NeoFur carpet, like that. And I'm going to keep it right in the boys room here. Now I'll just dump everything in here. I'm going to need a copy of the material. I'm going to need to create a new miscellaneous asset called NeoFur asset, and I will call this blue carpet underscore fur. And the static mesh, let's pop this over here, will be the boys room. So we will pop that in. It's not in here yet. It's not added as a component. Before I add it, I want to, you know, part of this is I actually have a little bit of a fear about this. I don't think this is going to fucking work. I'm going to be honest. I think that in the distance it's going to look like crap, or it's going to be too laggy or something. I think something's weird is going to happen. So I'm a little nervous. So what we do is, this is actually just a placed static mesh component, and this is something I didn't actually really know or think that it was a good idea to do before. But you don't have to make like a blueprint or anything to get a component on it. You just add it right here. I don't know why I never thought to do that. Maybe this wasn't here before, or what? I don't know. I don't remember what version this got added. For all I know, this is in since 4.4. I could go back and look, but whatever. You can just add them straight here now, which is super handy. So if you wanted to do like a physics constraint, you don't want to go through the whole thing, you only need one, who cares? You can do that. Okay, so now we have the NeoFur component here, and what'll happen is, as soon as I add this, I should start getting shells. Oh, it's on the wall. Okay, you know, I'm gonna leave it there because it's gonna be hilarious, right? I mean, come on, how do you beat that? Okay, and then now we need a material. So I have one already somewhere. Right here, NeoFur materials. So I'm going to take the master and I'll create a material instance, and I'll call this blue carpet fur, and I will take this up here and stick that in there as a move. Okay, and then we'll plug that in here. Okay, the UVs, whoa, The UVs, it's disappearing on some parts. Okay, well, it's the wrong ID anyway. However, I think that the UVs are not correct for this. Let's take a look at that really quick. Let me take a look at the UVs. I may, very well may, pop this open, and UVs, yeah, it's really sparse. It's this is not mapped like for PBR paint. You know, this is mapped for tiled textures. That's why you get a bunch of crossover and stuff. It is, however, mapped one for one for light maps, and everything was set to straight as far as I know. So the light maps build okay. So I would like to use this channel actually, but the ideal way to do this, because I did show in the last video that even though you're, well, no, that's not true, because I'm not using a mask here. These are separate materials, so it's not going to be that problem that I was talking about, where if you just use a mask to tell where the fur is, that parts that are actually masked out still have a halo around them, which I feel is erroneous. But we'll come here anyway and fiddle with the fur. That got really laggy when I touched it. And then we'll come here, and the one thing I need to make sure that I do is tell the ID to be 1. Hopefully we don't get a crash. I didn't look like it. Okay. Now, given the UVs, I'm curious as to how I should approach this. I think what I'm supposed to do here, I think what I really want to do, get out of here, there, is I should go and take the floor of this thing and make it its own mesh and have a nice large open set of UVs. My mouse died. I think in this case the fastest thing for me to do is to come into 3D Studio and just create a ground mesh here real quick. So let me hit Control B again, and I wish it would, where is it? Do I have something in the search field? So something's in the way. My mouse is very slow, and this is very laggy due to this mesh distance field thing that keeps going and going and going. I can't do anything about it except for just to wait for it to happen. It started at 250 or something like that, or 300, whatever. I don't know what it was, but it was like at 30 minutes ago or something that it started. So it's going to be going for a while. There's not a lot I can do about it. But what I can do here is I can say Asset Actions and export, and I'm going to export this to an FBX, and I'm going to import it into Max. It's faster than me actually going and finding the files, to be honest, my originals. Alright, here I have the object up here. Okay, and so first things first, I don't care if it's an editable mesh right now, I just want to select that ID, hit Control I, and delete. Now I want to convert it to an editable polygon, and let's go ahead and make the color nice and dark. As you see, that didn't do anything because it's using a material, so we'll clear that by hitting UVW remove material. Alright, let's convert that back. Let's take a quick F4. Now, one of the things I'm not entirely sure about is whether or not the poly count makes a difference. I know it makes a difference when it comes to the physics of the shells. I know that for an absolute fact. I've seen it. It's clear as day, the shells. But this isn't going to move, and I'm gonna try to disable wind from it, is the idea. So I'm not sure if I need to do anything. The one thing I absolutely do need to do, though, is make sure that it fits the whole area. So if we check a checker and we check it out, y'all, we'll come up here and just take a little peek and just make sure that there's no stretching anywhere. I'm watching you, corners. Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't see any rips, tears, or shreds. Alright, so we'll just hit that. And I'll move it to the middle. I don't think that really matters. And I don't actually think I care if it breaches or doesn't. Like, I don't think I need to walk this to 0 for sure, you know, to keep it good. So I'll leave it at that for now, but I'm going to keep this file open, and we'll see what we get here. The other thing is, I want to go to the channel info here because I want to clear the light map channel. I'm going to clear that, and then we'll convert that down. And now I'm going to export this as the boys' room floor. Okay, I brought it back in here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete that NeoFur component. And then I'll show you guys a nice handy trick on how to get things to line up. First off, you know, if we're looking at the boys' room here, you can see that the location is actually 0, 0, 0. You can see that the gizmo for this room is actually at the world 0, which is dead center of the house. Okay, so like things go below and stuff like that, but every room that I pick, if I click on it, has the gizmo there. Wow, my mouse is just dying. I don't even know if I hope this recording's not all glitchy. For me, the 0, 0, 0 factor of it is merely just a convenience. However, in a lot of cases, you're going to want to do something like this, and this object is now at some crazy value. And instead of copying and pasting this after you drag this somewhere, because if I drag this out, I just put the 0 point right there. So the actual object is somewhere. I don't know where it is. So I don't want to do it that way. What I can do though is I can take the object that is in the correct position, of the same position. I can Control C, Control V, and then I right click and I say replace with the floor. And that worked because I copied the room into its same place, and I just replaced the mesh with whatever was selected in the content browser. And it works for all kinds of stuff. Like for instance, this has some of these pieces will have different pivots on them, right? But if I wanted to say take this and put a different latch there, instead of dragging a new latch onto the scene and all that, you know, you right click on it and you would replace it. Obviously I'm not going to replace that with the floor, so that way you don't lose your position. Well, if you copy and paste, then you replace that one, so you can keep the positions of things. What is that? Oh, it's a sock. Okay, so now that we have hopefully a better mesh here, where is my mouse? How did it end up all the way in the upper right corner of my second fucking monitor? Alright, so boys room 2, this now needs the component. Oh, add a component. NeoFur. I really do. Oh wait, no. I gotta type that here. Add component NeoFur. Wait, Neo. Oh, there's a space. Is that what's killing it? There's a fucking space in there. Calm down. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not upset. Alright, so we come here and we go fur and we throw that in there. That should give us shells. It's weird that they don't pass up through. I have a feeling that it needs more geometry. I just have that sneaking suspicious feeling. But I want to play with this material here and see first if I got anything here that I can do. Okay, so first off, pattern scale is a big one. Okay, it ain't going to look like carpet until this goes up like a hundy. Okay, and there's a length. Pattern, fur control, pattern. Oh no, that's not here. That's not here. That's not here. That's over here. So I'm just gonna move that like that. I can still see the carpet. I know my viewports are. It's so hard to make tutorials. You know, when I work, I record. You know, I work on 2 monitors. So I have a feeling that this is. Oh, there we go. Oh, weird. Alright, let's try 200. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, that's so weird looking. Okay. 400. 800. This doesn't actually affect lag, by the way, because it's just a scale of the texture, as far as I'm aware. You see, I was worried about this. It would just get all fuzzy and weird looking in the distance. So I was just kind of fiddling with it for a second, and it started doing this. I was like, what the hell's going on? I fiddled with the these LOD distances here. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset everything. Like so. You can see that that comes to a settle. But this, by the way, maximum distance from camera is not like per pixel on the surface, it's on the object. So if I actually pull this below the thing, you can see it just goes away. It's not compiling or anything, it's gone. There's a gray material underneath, it just goes away. So that is to distance to the objects itself or something. I don't really know how that works. Maybe it is per pixel or something. It's strange because I would assume that it would mean down there to the room's origin, you know, it's in the middle of that room is the origin. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. However, visually, even though I'm down here close, it don't look that bad. I'm gonna be honest, and I might be able to actually get some cool effects on it. Let me move this out of the way now so that we can see a little bit better. Here, I'll even give it to you full screen. It ain't that bad. Now, okay, if you look at it, it just looks like little bulgy thingies. But I need to balance how fine it is by, you know, how far I can see, because as you can clearly see out here, it's, you know, it's not doing entirely all that well. So we'll come back into regular mode here. We can try. I really don't. Let me see. Can I even tell a difference? Because this needs to be quite low res, and I don't think I can go this low res. That's just a diggity dog shit, I think. So we'll see. Let me think. I'm looking over on the right, sorry. I'm just going to play with this. So first off, I need a color base, and I have a texture. Where is it? There it is. Here, carpet, and content, and basically I gotta pick one of these guys. Carpet 2D, it might be good. And the color scale, I think, needs to match. Okay. And now I can activate my colors. Something like that. And that. I hate that goddamn color picker. I need the same material on the actual carpet itself. I don't think I need to mess with this anymore. So let me dock this out of the way real quick. I don't need that open either. Anything to help performance? Okay. So, here and here. I mean, honestly, this looks infinitely better than that already, in my opinion. If I had just had the correct color underneath, which I'll do here in 1 segundo, which is, I believe, I don't remember which one I ended up using. I'll try it. That's too dark. No, not that one. Yeah. I need to tile the crap out of it. Boys' room itself. Boys' room itself. Is boys' room 2? This should be boys' carpet. And then let's just come up here and type boy. So just not, yeah, okay. So I just, whoa. So, okay. It's weird that that's way over there. Why is this breaching this? And why is there no cut here to say type? That's weird. Okay. The boys' room is using that one. So the boys' carpet will use the same thing. It actually should be even finer because the UVs are even larger, or, you know, tiled even more. So that should be okay there. Like I said, I already like it more, but I'm getting a ill pattern here. I may need to go into the master material and do some adjustment so that I can make it so that these are fine closer, and then actually in the distance they're a little bit larger and more sparse so that they show up better and don't just give me this funky grid that we got going on here. Let's pull that back up. I'll just crush this over. Get you out of there. Alright. So let me put the shell count back up. That looks so much better. Okay, so I'm going to play in here with the LODs. That's so cool. Okay, I don't want to freak out. It's not perfect. They're all going in the same direction. They're all tilting to the right. That is totally cool. I think that would be different if I gave it more geometry. I think that they would fall maybe possibly in different directions if I gave it more geometry. That's a possible test. I mean, this thing's got like no polygons in it. It doesn't have any real bearing. However, yes it does, because every vert I add gets you know, our numbers, you know. So low, I think if I can pull it off with low poly, I'm going to. And I'm honestly pulling this off right now, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, anybody could be like, but the truth is that what's actually wrong here is that this is more in the wrong spot than the carpet is incorrect. You know, I would need to do it like that. And then you can actually see it breach over. Like, you don't get that with just other stuff, you know, with regular techniques. Shell method's the only way you're going to pull something like that off. They all look like little worms. You know what they remind me of? Each one of these things. It does remind me of aliens in one regard. I don't want to say what half these things look like, right? I mean, come on, dude. That's just too easy of a dick joke. But they also remind me of, dang it, what was I going to say? Well, they look like maggots, kind of, like blue maggots. Like weirdly shaped maggots. But it's kind of like a topological map too. It's very interesting in my opinion just to look at it like that. But alright, so I'll play with it a little bit more. Maybe now that I have more shells, maybe I can get a More of a shaggy look. Let's just go crazy here. It just looks like carpet to me. Like, oh my god. All right, okay. So now don't freak out. That's gorgeous. That's just wonderful. Oh. Hang on. Let me finish. Alright, I'm good. Okay. Am I happy with this just as is? I got a very tile straight line feel, and I think everybody would get that too. Because of the tiling, let's take a look at the master material and let's see what can be done. Because I have an idea. Where are ya? Alright, NeoFur master. I've already adjusted it with my own set of controls up here that I inserted to give myself, well, control. So, let me think. The fur pattern. Aha. Here we can adjust. This is the pattern that is being used to create each fiber. With it tiling so heavily, like 1,000 literally, you can quite clearly see the hedgerows here. Okay, we're going to avoid that. You can see them diagonally here, and I'm assuming that if I get another angle, you could probably see them in some angle this way. Around here. Definitely going this way, but it's clear as day. There's the line. I'm walking it right there. So we want to try to get rid of that, and the only idea that I have for that is to take this line and make it no longer straight, or make it wavy. And we can do that with some UV trickage, but we're going to need a new texture input, and this one is going to be called pattern warp image. Okay, and we're going to take regular set of UVs, and we're going to add the red channel to it. However, before we do that, we're going to insert a variable called warp strength. We do that before we add it. Okay. We need this. Warp scale. Keep it at 1 for now. Keep that at 0. These are the original UVs. Okay, what's wrong with mine? Hang on. Okay, now I got my mouse back. I actually screwed this up. I don't want to add that. I want to add that. I don't need that extra UV. Okay, so this mess here gets added to the original pattern scale. So what it's going to do is going to add values based on an image, which is going to get sent into here, which is going to warp this. It's an old trick, one that when I first learned about it was just unbelievably excited and happy. This right here, being able to do this into UVs to warp them with any image you want, is a godsend, and has been for I don't know how long now. Okay, the compile's done. Let's get our eyes set on a line here. Let's find a nice healthy one. I guess this guy will do just fine. Right down there. We're going to try to see if we can't get rid of that. Okay. My warp strength didn't end up in the right group because I didn't set it. 0.01, 0.11. It's broke it up close to me, but not far away. But broke it up real nice close to me. Look at that, it's giving me some... It's giving me some breakup in the carpet. Oh my god, that's fantastic. Now, it's a little weird when you look directly at that breakup, but from a distance, the breakup works. Absolutely works. It just looks like ripped up threads. Now, what's my distance going to be? About here. Yeah, it's a little too much for that. So let me see. The warp strength here. Let's just go crazy for a sec. Oh my god. Oh my word. That really works. Okay. I'm still seeing the main fundamental tiling though. Okay, hang on. Pattern, warp scale, 0.1. Warp amount, 10,000. I can't tell what that's doing. That's not doing something I like. I think that's probably just silly. 1,000, okay. Warp scale 1. Weird. How weird is that? It's like crop circles. Huh. So little parts of ripped up carpet. Like I said, you know, that issue that I showed in a previous video where it was still creating shells and you could still pretty much see where there was no stuff here. Well, actually, no, that's not the case here. It's crazy. Look at that. It's like you're in the Matrix. You expect, like, you know, little lights to go through, right? This is all the data being fed. 1 0 1 0 1 1 0. All right, let's not do this anymore. Okay. So it's just like little tufts. That is one rotten ass carpet. You know, there should be nothing stopping this from being able to be adjusted in real time, meaning that, like, over time, like, you could have your carpet rot from the floor. And that's, like, not even a joke. Like, you could definitely do that. I mean, look at that. It's just like, now it's just in a couple of spots. I mean, that's rotted ass carpet. There's nothing left. If we took it, you know, not so far as what we're doing here. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. It's like, over time, you just have the carpet come back in, you know? That's so freaking weird. Alright, so I'm having issues getting rid of that distance tiling because, you know, a lot of it has to do with this. Because if I just go 4, that's, well, you know, that isn't actually gone. Hang on, maybe what I'm seeing here is this. This does have tiling in it too, although I'm a little hesitant to change that. 1, 0.1? No, that is not what I'm seeing. Height here. I can dump this now. I can get rid of the parent for this is a bump offset parent. I'm getting rid of that. That's completely unnecessary. I mean, this just looks so good right here, right around me. I would love to get rid of that in the distance. I would love to. Without making this shader too heavy, because there's a couple other things I could probably pull off too. I could probably base this on the pixel depth, right? And then it would be larger out in the distance. So I'd get bigger, but that might cause a crazy, my worry there is that it'll be an unstable visual, right? It'll be like as I'm moving, everything's going to be changing and shit. It's just going to feel weird. I don't want that. I don't think I want that. I don't think that's a good fucking idea. Yet, what can I do? What can I do? Because this isn't doing it, because it's still not able to mask this, which is, you know, default of 4 here, but I'm ending up at like 800 to get it to look good. So I'm adding, you know, this to 800. Even though this is smaller, it's still having issues getting rid of that. It really is. What I'm going to do, I think, is do my best to tune it off camera, because it's going to take me kind of a long time to go through back and forth through all these settings to try to figure it out. And when I'm done, if I pull it off, I'll come back and say what I figured out. But it's mostly going to be me digging around with the warp strength and the warp scale and the pattern scale to see if I can't get some kind of a balance here to minimize this tiling that you get in the distance while hopefully maintaining the very nice look that I get up close. Because up close it really does look good, and it's just it does not fall apart like even really close. There was one little part over here on the chair I didn't like, but that's because I'm pushing the fibers out quite far. So the fix here is not to, you know, do anything with the carpet. It's to get the chair out from underneath it, you know, and put it like that. My only concern about doing something like this, though, is everybody that buys this game, or a game, my game, or your game, can everybody run this? Can everybody run NeoFur? Like, is it just gonna work on any system? I kind of think it is, but I'm a little nervous about that, and because, you know, if I move this up and the person can't render NeoFur because their computer isn't good enough, now there is now a pretty substantial height difference here. So that presents kind of a fundamental, you know, a fundamental WTF am I gonna do? The other thing that I have a feeling is going to be absolutely tits, though, is this might be loud. Watch your headphones. Why did that give me a breakpoint? Read-only graph. Okay, well, I'm getting all kinds of breakpoints for some weird reason. I wasn't getting that before. Alright, let me pause it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're stepping down into it. It's not overly obvious from here, you know, from a distance, but they are, in fact, I mean, that's clear as day, right? It's right behind the fiber. So it's not an illusion, it's really happening, although it is an illusion. Yeah, they're pretty cool. It's working on these guys okay. By the way, all of the air, you can see clearly that nothing's in here. I don't exist in the world to cause this to stream. In case anybody's wondering what all that weirdness was in the beginning, the errors and stuff. That was because I cannot simulate my game to, I mean, well, I can, but I can't expect a lot of things to load because these are streamed based on stuff. Okay, this right here was never added to the girls' room. It remains on the persistent level, I think. That's why it is here. The persistent level doesn't have any of the props, so the hallway's not loaded because I don't exist, and nothing in here is loaded. So that's why this happens. And you can see a few of the things. These are interactive objects. These are maintained on the persistent world. That way I can always have access to them. But that was done on prior versions when you couldn't talk to objects between worlds. So I wasn't able to, because the lights do more than just turn off and on. They also determine whether or not these guys are actually going to be around. So if the lights are on, the spiders, they bail, they take off. So you can just turn the lights on to get rid of the spiders in the room. But if say the mission is you gotta, you know, wipe out the spiders, you gotta pretty much gotta turn the lights off, or they're not gonna come out. So that's how that works. So that's why it's, you know, things like this have to be on there. But as far as the what's that shadow from? Where the clothes are on the. Is that the pile of clothes? No. What is that? So here's part of a problem. So that distance thing. Yeah, see? It is a distance to the origin of this thing. Quite clearly right here you can see it doesn't show up. So I need to make sure that basically that just goes forever. It doesn't matter. It's either rendering or not, so it's the whole floor. And I'll add it to the floor level, right? And then it'll be good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna call this like awesome. I couldn't figure that out. If I ever do, I just don't want to spend the time on it right now. It's kind of a minor thing. It really is being nitpicky. Everything's working really good. Like I said, it's some things gonna have to be taken into account, right? Because now, I mean, it's like this is better than foliage because it's way less polys than foliage. I mean, there's 30 copies of the floor and that's it. So the floor is however many polygons. Now, in a case of like a character that has a lot of polygons, you got to understand that, right? Your shells can't be too high res. For instance, my rat character, he's like 40,000 polys. So to multiply that by 30, and you're looking at something, you know? But here's another one that I really want to do, right here. This is going to be fantastic, and I know this one's going to work beautifully. I absolutely already know it. I can't wait to do this. I'm going to do it in a different video. I'm thinking it's going to be a fairly short video because I don't think this one's going to have any issues. But I do kind of need to look at the mesh and stuff like that. I won't go into this too much. But I need to make sure that if I look in this in wireframe, that it's not too many polys. You can see 736 triangles, 30 times that, you know, 2,100, or I mean 21,000 is not the worst ever, but I mean, you know, it's still 21,000. However, it's not something like, you know, 40,000 times 30. So this should be fine, I think. And it has two materials. Let's not show collision. You can see here that this is actual geometry cut out, so I'm not going to have any issues with the fur breaching where the trough is. So I should get a nice cut right there in the fur and in the profiles around here. I should get fur tufting. Actually, it's going to be all to gravity. So this is a tennis ball, so I don't want to go too silly with it. Like it's not going to be like a shag tennis ball. Although it kind of could be. That would be more like a dog chewed up one. I've seen them go both ways. I've seen them become super long and hairy and gross, and I've seen the hair get all matted down onto it like it's just now rubber gross. Like dog tennis balls get gross in two ways basically. But just regular, you know, like a brand new one, it's just kind of a felt over the whole surface would be my main goal. And man, I think it's going to work perfect. So again, I am super stoked. I really think the carpet's working pretty good. It's not falling apart up against anywhere. You know, any of these surfaces that are cut off. Like I said, I got a few that I would need to determine whether or not I'm gonna adjust for this or not, because I need to move that up. But that took it off the floor mesh, you know, so I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm a little nervous about it. By the way, if anybody wants to make like the most useful editor tool in the absolute universe, create an in-editor component that is an FFD modifier. Can you imagine the use? Imagine it. And when I know it can be done. I don't have the brains to do it, but I have the brains to know that it can be done, and enough to know that it would be one of the greatest tools ever. Useful beyond reason, to be honest with you. If you could FFD stuff, it would be crazy. By FFD, I'm talking about a free-form cage deformer or modifier. Any kind of lattice deformer, cage modifier, something where it creates a cube around it with as many segments as you tell it, and whenever you move the points on the cube, it stretches the volume of the model around, so you can essentially morph and warp it. So that way I can make a copy of this jacket and stick it on this chair and bend it to fit this chair without having to go into 3D Studio Max and do that there. Everybody could do it. You know, even the people that don't have or know how to use external 3D packages. So an FFD type modifier in the engine, and it could be in editor only. I wouldn't necessarily say keep that live, although if it was, that would just be probably awesome. Probably, I don't know. Oh, should I okay, so before, okay, I'm gonna end the whole series. However, I am gonna take a cut here really quick, and I'm gonna come back when I have brown carpet on the other side, and we'll take a look at the two of them together, and we'll just marvel at how awesome it is. Alright, so, and that'll be it. So this will be Hit Pause signing off, and I'll see you in 1 second, and then thanks for watching. Okay, after a little bit of fiddling, I was able to achieve two things, and I learned one thing. First off, this is the most fucking cool thing I've ever seen in my life, right now. I am very, 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 very happy with the results here. The way it looks. It looks absolutely perfect. No, not perfect, but it's really good. Now I've got some stuff going on that I'm doing on purpose, and just attempting some things here and there. I was able to completely remove the lines. I was in fact able to warp the whole thing. If you look, you can see that the whole thing is warping all over the place. It's all different. Okay, all of that's broken up. The problem was that I had, to my floor object, which I've now named Boy's Carpet, I had applied the this, which was set, the growth static mesh was set to the boy's room and this other ID. So I was like, oh shit, I forgot. So I put, whenever I tried to change the mesh, the whole editor crashes. So I ended up creating a new one, which now uses the boys' room floor, which is a different UV set. So I had to rescale the textures and everything, but given that I was no longer scaling from 800, I actually took the scale down. Here, I'll show you here in a sec. Pretty low for the warp. Scale is actually only 1 now. Okay, and the pattern scale and things like that are much lower. It was like 800 or something before. So what that did was that caused the warp that I'm doing to actually function properly. I had everything off kilter and off balance because I had it all set for the wrong mesh. So I couldn't tell if it was trying to UV the boys' room across this or what. It was very strange looking. But in the end, once I fixed it, it now looks perfect. And I have the ability now, if I want to, I can even add my own pattern on top of it to create that kind of offset. Okay, so now I have like a little bit of, rows of my tufts if I want. Or I can get rid of that entirely, like you see out here in the brown, by merely, in this case, I just turned the color scale to 0.01 and the tiling of everything to very low. So it just took the main color. The other option is to copy, paste. Okay, you can do that, and then any patterning will be gotten rid of. So from up here, I think it looks perfectly fine. I don't see any issue with it. Right. Okay, hang on. Oh shit. Well, you know what? No. Oh, well, it's element 0. I think I can do it. Let's save. I'm gonna see if I can't get it on the stairs. It should still be element 0, but the thing is it's told to use this growth mesh. So let me make a different one. So I'll make a brand new one. So we'll go miscellaneous NeoFur, and this will be stairs carpet fur. Bam. And then we'll pop that open. And the growth static mesh, I'm just going to type that in over here off screen, sorry. Stairs, I believe. Yes. Growth ID should be 0 here. That's fine. Okay, so I'm good there. So I have that now. That's picking the correct one, and I'll use the brown first, so let's do it. So come here, we'll type not neo, not sparring, and then we'll come over here with the fur asset and the tan fur material. Wait, stairs is the fur asset. Yeah, that's what I got. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Stairs. If I click this and I hit Control B, it's the same thing. Okay. NeoFur has that. Stairs, carpet, fur. Oh, it just took a sec. Oh no, it's the distance. Bam. Oh, by the way, tip and trick. I shouldn't have. I'm stupid. Watch this. Delete. Right click. Copy. Notice this was NeoFur 1. Come here. Paste. And then see how it actually furred this thing over here, even though I've got this object selected, right? So I can just basically say find that and change that to the stairs. And all I really gotta do, well, they have different UV sizes, which is clear as day here. Okay, we're back to the topological map. So I would need to create a new material. Okay, we'll use that instead. Then we'll pop this open, and I'll pull this one over here so we can all see. And basically, pattern scale here. Where does one end and the other begin, buddies? There is no end. It's like one big whop of shit. This is... How's the profile here? Oh, it works so good. Oh god, look at that. You know, these get cut off, but all I would need to do would be to wrap my geometry properly. This is absolutely inspired me to create a very high-res set of stairs with the banistering and the flooring and the skirting and the bars, and PBR the shit out of it and keep it all ready for fur, because that looks fucking great. I don't want to be an infant that swears, but sometimes you just gotta let the boy out. Yeah, maybe girls don't understand, but the boys gotta understand. Every once in a while you gotta go, oh fuck yeah, man, that's badass. This is fucking cool. It really is. I'm so happy. As everything that I had hoped that it would be. Oh, here's the thing though. I noticed, I learned, the other thing I learned was this. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I don't know what it's doing. It could be Z fighting or something. It's really hard to tell what it's doing. Let me see. I got the boys' room. Let's see if I hide the boys' room. Yeah. No. Wait, it shows up from this distance. It glitches to all hell at roughly that distance, and then it's fine up close. So there's like this magical distance where it's squirreled, and I think I know the problem. And now it's not doing it. Okay, well let me put the boys' room back so I can make it do it. There it is. Okay. Is it boys carpet? Is it not going to do it when I have it selected, for the love of all that sucks in the universe, so I can't fucking tune this? It is. It's fine when I have it selected. Shit. Well, how can I know if I'm changing anything if it's doing anything? Balls. What did I just do? Whatever I did, I undid it. Maximum distance from camera. Visible length scale. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I never even played with that yet. Active shell count scale. There's physics parameters, so I can turn it off. By the way, look, watch. See how they're all leaning towers of pizzas? I think I can get rid of that. See? Now they're all straight. Now it'd be more like carpet. But I kind of, to be honest, that gets real weird looking. I kind of like having gravity in there, to be honest. So I'll say 10. Whoa. Whoa. Spring dampening multiplier, spring angle stiffness, radial force. Oh, are fucking grenades gonna make this thing wobble around? Oh my god, I think I can get grenades to make fucking ripples go through this shit. Okay, now, hang on. That's only gonna work, I know this for a fact, if I do crank the geometry. And here's the thing. If I don't do that, then I absolutely have to turn that off. Because, here, watch what happens when I turn it on. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's the entire surface. I don't have enough. If it moves a vert over here on the shell, it's gonna move a huge amount. There isn't even a vert anywhere in the middle, anywhere. So all it can do is move these corner verts, and so any radial force or anything that causes this to shift around, I actually want this to be dead still. I want no physics on it at all, to be honest, because anything that makes it move will move the whole floor, the whole fucking room. There's just no geometry to distinguish between anything else. And I'll be honest, I don't want to go in and tessellate the shit out of this, because then I'm shelling up a huge amount. And I want to use this everywhere. Not in here, that's going to be tile. In fact, this room's completely unfinished. But that's going to be tile. But here, baby's room, all these bedrooms are all going to have it. All throughout the closet. It's going to be in the hall here for sure. It already is. Shit. I forgot. I was just looking at the front. Yeah, it's already here. Looks wonderful. The profile that you get against all the surfaces is just fantastic. And it's I really don't feel like it's eating any kind of performance whatsoever. I know Camtasia is laggy for you guys. I do know that. What the fuck are those shadows? Oh, it's the tents. Oh, well, I'll have to address that. But yeah, holy shit. That right there. Let's get this shot right here. Okay, that looks pretty goddamn good. When you're looking around, it looks better when you're moving around. You could pick it apart any way you want, if you want. But the settings are there. I can make it much finer. I can make it more coarse. You saw that I can mat it down. I can rot it out. I know that here's another last trick that I know we can do. Later on in 4.12, we're going to be able to combine meshes into one mesh, which means I can take this room, I can take everything that's on the floor and the floor itself, combine it all together, export that out to an FBX, bring that into Max, bake out a shadow map for everything that's touching the floor, and then everywhere that I'm seeing this kind of shit, I can completely fix. So I know that I can do that. Whether or not I'm going to be lazy enough to do that, the fact is because of the fact, I hate saying the same word more than once, is I really can't and shouldn't compensate my world design for this carpet, because I don't have any proof that everybody can run this. I don't have any knowledge about that at all. I don't even know if I can run it in the end, you know? It's not laggy or anything, but it's, I don't know. What do I know? Maybe this plugin's going to make it so that my game won't compile. Anybody ever put a plugin in UE4 and try to just compile? It doesn't always work, you know? But this one was pro and paid for, so I'm assuming it does. I guarantee it went through QA. But there's some questions here and there. Maybe somebody doesn't like it. Maybe it eats performance. So I wouldn't mind being able to have a setting in my game to say, hey, just shut the fur off everywhere. No fur on any animals, no fur on the ground. Maybe I can separate it. Maybe I can say, hey, do you want fur? Do you want real carpet? Or do you want, you want to turn off AI, fur on AI? You want to turn off moss? Because I'm doing moss too. This is perfect for moss. This is absolutely perfect for moss on any kind of surface, man. This is going to be so good, especially when you start doing all this like smear and bump attack stuff, like this kind of stuff. Oh, it's going to work out. It's going to severely work out. My reference plane's good. So I am beyond happy. To be perfectly honest with you, this was the best purchase I can possibly think of for me. I can't recommend it anymore if you guys are doing anything even remotely, can even remotely use fur. And there's so many cases. Creatures, characters, what I'm doing here for things like carpet, maybe, I'm going to do a separate video for the tennis ball. Just so many different cool things. I mean, just think, this is a bathroom over here, and I'm eventually going to have I don't know if I put this in over here even. No, I think this is empty too. Yeah, I haven't brought in any of the bathroom assets yet, but one of the assets that I have is the mat that goes in front of the toilet and the little mat that goes next to the shower. And I got towels hanging off of here. Dude, the towels. This right here is almost better for a fucking towel than it would be for a goddamn carpet. This looks like a flawless fucking towel surface to me, you know? I mean, I wouldn't do this kind of warpy shit on a towel. I'd let the towel just go like this. Keep it nice and nice and like that. And I'm gonna tune this out. This is bugging me now. It's too weird. But the theory's there, and I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but I see a whole bunch of pig snouts, right? Like, oink oink, oink oink. It's the hall of pig fucking Dante's Inferno for pigs. This is where they all come, and all they get is they get their snout sticking out of the ground, and then they get traipsed on and pissed on and shit on and everything else, and that's all they get to do is oink at the world from this fucking perspective. So this is Hippo signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.